Hi, I'm Sam Laprade. Welcome to An Hour to Give. I'm wearing purple today for a very important reason, which I'll tell you all about. I wanted to introduce today Kate Jackson. She's the Interim Executive Director for Cornerstone Housing for Women. Hello, Kate.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for having us.
It's so wonderful to have you here. And of course, you brought a friend. Christian Reich is here as well. Hello,
Hi, Sam.
Christian. How
Hello.
are you?
Very good. How are you today?
Good, from IKEA,
From
market
IKEA.
manager.
Yes.
An important role, of course.
It is.
Yes. And you have partnered together. Tell me why.
Well, I think we really resonate and align with Cornerstone's vision about helping people transform their lives from crisis to hope through healing and housing. And IKEA really has a vision to make great homes accessible and affordable for many Canadians. And it was a great opportunity to partner with them and really support them through their mission and provide an amazing home furnished with great accessories to make sure it's a safe, warm place for people to enjoy and have that as their space.
And we've been hearing about 44 Eccles, very exciting for Cornerstone. You've been doing this for a long time. Cornerstone's done some incredible work. Give us a sense of what 44 Eccles is all about.
Yes, absolutely. 44 Eccles will be Cornerstone's 5th supportive housing building in the city of Ottawa. And we're so excited to see it coming to closure to the point that construction is finalizing and we're ready truly to make it a home for 46 individuals who are currently experiencing homelessness in our city. We are so excited that IKEA has joined us as a partner to truly make the building and the units will be permanent homes for these individuals. A true home when they walk in the door with furnishings, fit outs, and a beautiful space to call their own.
I love this so much because, I picture walking into my first apartment, it had nothing. It was a square box. And it doesn't feel like home yet. You're going to help create that home. That permanent part as well that Kate talked about, how important is that for IKEA to be working with people knowing that that is the place that they can call home?
It's super important. I think, we believe that everyone has the right to have a great home, a place where you can refresh, recharge, and we want to make sure that in this partnership that we can do our best part to provide that for these women coming into these homes. So we're donating over $10,000 worth of IKEA products, and we're going to make sure that they do have a warm, comfortable home to call their own.
And partnership was the word used, which I love, because this just isn't about furniture. It's about so much more than that. Kate, walk me through this kind of partnership with IKEA. I think about IKEA. Could you have a better partner?
No, absolutely not. IKEA has such a reputation and for quality and providing a space that truly is a home. Not only are they coming to the table to help us with furnishing and fitting out the units, but they created an opportunity for us to publicly go live with our capital campaign as well, with a really amazing gesture in relation to a light-up house. So I'll maybe ask Christian to talk a bit more about that, but that's a great opportunity for us as well.
Last week was the big day, and
Yes.
and you lit this up to really show the community you're backing Cornerstone.
Yeah. On March 7th, we did a light up. So we built a structure to represent a home using IKEA products. We covered it in purple. We lit it up. It was a great event. So nice to have the community there. So nice to be part of it and support Cornerstone in their mission. And that's really what we're trying to do, is be a great community partner and a great neighbor for the city of Ottawa. So it was a great event and super happy to be part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And when I think about all of the different corporations, I always joke IKEA takes up a whole postal code there. It's quite a standout store in this city. When you found out, Kate, because I know you probably breathed a bit of a sigh of relief that they were coming to the table, talk to me a little bit about how you sort of shared that with the community as well.
Absolutely. IKEA has such a reputation, and not only are they coming to the table with tangible givings, they have a reach that Cornerstone itself can't possibly touch in relation to everybody goes to IKEA. Everybody loves IKEA. So just the reach that the organization provides to us in relation to getting our mission, our mandate out into the community and educating people about who we are and what we do is just, invaluable.
Absolutely. Now I have to tell you a funny story. So my dad did not like to shop, but he would come home and tell us that he stopped on his own by himself to go get meatballs.
Okay.
So that's you're bringing everybody in.
The meatball is the great unifier in IKEA.
Exactly, it is. And when I think about the stamp that IKEA has put on this community, obviously taking up a big chunk of space there, but in the philanthropic space, how important is it for you to give back? I mean, to think that someone's walking in and walking into home, that's more than any money could buy.
Yeah, and again, that's a huge part of what we do. And IKEA has been in Ottawa and part of the community for over 40 years now, and it's super important for us to be a good neighbor, a good partner in the community, and we really look to find those change makers like Kate and Cornerstone to be able to make long-term positive impact on the community and really make sure we're giving back. We want people, when they come to IKEA, to not just see themselves reflected in IKEA and Ottawa as represented there, but also to make sure that we are supporting the greater community and really giving back to the place that we call home as well. So,
because I'm a big IKEA fan, I'm picturing all the furnishings and the fabrics and everything. How are you kind of outfitting all of them? How do you even begin to do that?
Through the store? That's definitely not me.
Yeah.
That's not my talent. We have a whole team, communications and interior design team, who are extremely talented for that. And I think they take a lot of time and consideration into the plans that they put together. And a big piece of that is simply, we want to make sure that people from Ottawa see themselves reflected. So we do put a lot of thought into what does it look like to live in Ottawa, as well as we want to make sure that people see lots of different styles of home expression. So whether you're living with children, or it's your first home, or your small space living, we want to make sure that when you come to IKEA, you see an opportunity to see yourself reflected and find some great home furnishing solutions, no matter your budget and what you're looking for.
Thank heavens you have Christian and the team.
It's incredible.
Where would you even start trying to outfit 46 units?
It's going to be a big endeavor. Anybody who wants to help move in, we're welcoming volunteers. But once we, essentially cut the ribbon at the location, it will be fast and furious getting the units prepped and making them a home. And we hope to welcome residents in essentially May of this year.
Yeah, and I think working in the retail space, I mean, it's had its ups and downs over the last number of years with the pandemic, challenging to pick up your order and all those kinds of days. But is this going to be a day that you remember in 20 years from now, Christian, that you were part of something so special?
100%. I think, having a partner like Cornerstone and being able to see the impact that it makes on people's lives, not just today, but for the future as well, and really making those transitions possible, and giving people that safe space, as Kate mentioned, is so important. So it is 100% something we will remember. It's something that our coworkers get really excited about. They really want to be a part of it. They want to participate. There's a huge passion in IKEA for giving back to the community. So we're so happy to be able to do that. And yeah, it's something we'll carry with us. And
I think there's something about, moving into a place where things are new.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot of the individuals that you help, people that, vulnerable people in our community, maybe have never had anything new like this. Is that a big part of this story as well?
Absolutely. Like as you mentioned, walking into a space of four walls, it is safe and it's warm, but is it a home? Furnishing it and fitting it out really does show that we care. The community cares, and we want to make sure that it's a successful permanent home for individuals.
For sure. So you were mentioning the buzz around from the staff's perspective, people fighting over trying to work on this project. Is it that kind of thing where people really want to be a part of it?
Absolutely. We have a really great culture, and it's an ongoing project in IKEA that we continuously look for great community partners to support and to partner with. And some of that comes from internal. Our coworkers suggest organizations that they feel really passionate about. Some of it is just our amazing people and culture team reaching out and finding organizations that need support, but our coworkers are always super excited to participate whatever we're doing. So
Kate, so Christian can go back to IKEA with some wonderful words from you. What would you say to Christian and the team at IKEA?
I think we want to say thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for being a partner. Thank you for supporting the individuals in need in our community and for supporting Cornerstone Housing for Women. We hope this partnership continues into the future, and we're just incredibly thankful.
And what do you want to say to Kate?
It's basically the same. I mean, we are so proud to be able to partner with you, and the mission and the work that you're doing is so important for the City of Ottawa. And yeah, we're happy to be there for you anytime you need. So please reach out to us. Amazing. And if it's product, we'll help you with product. If it's time and we can help move people in, I'm sure we can find some people to do that.
Amazing.
We're pretty good at moving furniture around.
I would imagine so.
I've heard assembling as well.
Yes. Assembling, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something I can do.
Yeah, and I've got your number now. So
Perfect.
that's fantastic. Exactly. That's fantastic. Walk me through, the opportunity opportunity for you to be part of this community? Because I think it's one thing to have a store and work at a community. It's another thing to feel part of the community.
So, at the end of the day, we all live and work here as well. And I think at the end, part of this is we want to make sure that we are supporting all the people around us. IKEA believes very strongly that inequality and poverty is probably two of the biggest issues we need to address in our society, and we really look for opportunities that we can address that in our neighborhood, because that's where we're based, right? So if we can do that, and if we can find those partnerships, it means the world, not only for the community that we support and that we're part of, but also, again, as I mentioned, for our coworkers who can go home and know that they're making a difference to the people around them as well. So,
and how we're going to talk a little bit later, just you and I, Keith, but how much money are you still looking for to make Eccles a reality?
So we were beneficial to get some federal funding in relation to the rapid housing funding to help with the capital specific renovation and purchase costs. We are getting near the end of our capital campaign, and that's why we're ready to go public essentially. And thankfully we have about 2% of the total budget left to raise, which is $350,000. We had a great opportunity at IKEA to go public with the campaign, introduce people to the project that maybe haven't heard about it before now, and we'll be moving forward and having continued conversations with some of our other loyal supporters, some foundations within the community as well, and our kind of our donor base, potentially new donors if they haven't heard of us before, and our loyal donor base as well.
Perfect. We're going to have lots of chance to chat when we come back after this break with Kate Jackson as well. Thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate it very much. Interim Executive Director with Cornerstone. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Christian Reich, of course, Market Manager for IKEA. I'm feeling like a Billy bookcase and some Swedish meatballs. Yeah. Is it just me? I don't know. When we come back on An Hour to Give, we're going to speak with Kate Jackson. More details about Cornerstone's important capital campaign. Come on back, everyone. And we're back on An Hour to Give. I promised to tell you why I was wearing purple, because of course purple is the color for Cornerstone, and I was so happy a number of years ago to co-host the important Purple Tie Gala, which was a very special night for me and a very special night for the community. Interim Executive Director Kate Jackson knows all about the Purple Tie Gala. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for supporting Cornerstone for so many years. The Purple Tie Gala is such a wonderful evening, and you were so incredible.
It was so much fun. Joseph Cull, of course, yes. He really is a legend in this town. Yes. He had me up dancing with him. I'm hoping there's no footage, but it was a lot of fun that night. We've auctioned things off. We raised a lot of money for Cornerstone. But listen, you need a lot of money to keep this project going. So I want to inspire people today to maybe give a gift towards the campaign. Maybe it's a monthly gift. Tell us exactly what you're looking for.
Amazing. Well, Cornerstone Housing for Women, we traditionally have our operating appeals continuously going, and that's supporting our current operations, which is 4 supportive housing buildings and an emergency shelter. What we're specifically talking about today is our new supportive housing building, which is on 44 Eccles down in the city of Ottawa. And this is a new location that we've renovated. It's actually an old school, and it's going to welcome 46 individuals in spring. It's towards the end of spring this year. So what we're raising at the onset of it is essentially, it's called the Make It a Home campaign. And it really is taking the 4 walls that have been renovated into these units and really transitioning it into a home for these 46 individuals. It includes the units where they'll live permanently, as well as community space where they'll enjoy meals, some programming support, a technology lab, those kind of areas, and a fantastic back patio as well for them to enjoy.
Lovely. And it's so much more than, we've spoke about this, the unit, right? It's about creating community. It's about creating support. Someone's going to meet their best friend. I mean, all that kind of stuff happens in community. Yes. And I love this campaign. I love what you've named it. I think it's brilliant because everyone can relate to that. And whether it's a gift for $100, $1,000, or $10,000, I think everybody can really understand what it's like to move into permanent housing. We often hear about housing and it's temporary. How important is it that this is permanent housing?
That's right. A permanent housing provides stability that we can't offer anywhere else, as well as supportive programming. And essentially, we wrap the individual around with supportive programming from our amazing staff, as well as provide food support and other opportunities to ensure that they're successful in maintaining their permanent location as their home. So this campaign, we're looking to raise $350,000, and it's called Make It a Home campaign. We've been executing on a quiet phase campaign up to this point and have had some incredible support from our loyal donors, as well as IKEA, as we talked about with Christian, and some other key donors. Specifically, Google Canada has stepped up for us in supporting the community kitchen, and the Taggart Parks Foundation has been a great supporter of us as well. So we've been working through a quiet phase, and with it being International Women's Day, it was the perfect opportunity with IKEA stepping up to partner to really go live and let the community know about the project as it comes close to completion, and then also do our request for additional support to get us across the finish line of raising the $350,000 left.
I love it. And because I've had the privilege of over many years getting to know Cornerstone, I take it for granted that everybody knows what Cornerstone is. But I want to stop for a second, and I want you to sort of explain everything. When you think about Cornerstone, and you mentioned this is going to be the 5th supportive housing opportunity for people in the community. Take us back. Walk us through a little bit about Cornerstone.
Absolutely. So Cornerstone Housing for Women is a non-for-profit, and our mission and mandate is to provide safe and sustainable a home for individuals and meet them where they're at. So we do wrap programming around the individual and potentially provide food services support if needed. And then we do have other buildings where the individual will live somewhat independently, and that's the stage that the individual is at. The unit is the individual's unit, and they sign a lease, and it's their unit until they decide they want to move on to whatever their life takes them to. But we do have a lot of our residents stay with us for a permanent period of time. Cornerstone, we have an amazing staff. We have frontline staff and food services staff. We have case managers on staff as well that really support these individuals to live their daily life.
Wow, it really is inspiring, and I think, because I've had the privilege of being at different events and learning about Cornerstone over the years, I think people would almost feel relieved that there's a place like this in our city that is so welcoming and safe for people.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we have a great partnership with the City of Ottawa as well to support us with operating funding to be able to provide those wraparound services. And we have an incredible donor base that when we do have a situation, they step up and support us, which is really incredible. It truly is an incredible community, and it takes everybody to be successful in something like this.
I remember the day that I got a call. There was a crisis, maybe a couple of crises happening at the same time. It really was challenging for all of you to get through the couple of years, and then you add on, I don't want to mention the P word, but the pandemic and all of that on top of it. Talk about resilience. Cornerstone probably could be there in the definition of resilience in the book, because you just had to be, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. The pandemic was definitely one of the most challenging, I think, for everybody, but having to continue to figure out ways to ensure that we didn't let our residents down and we continued to move forward was really a testament to our incredible staff. We've moving forward, and unfortunately there can be crises that happen, but our incredible staff always step up, and the community steps forward when we do a call out to support and get us back on our feet, depending on what situation we're in.
So I know you've done it, you've inspired people, and now we need to tell them how to donate. What's the best way?
Amazing. Well, we would love people to go visit our website. You'll get more information about who we are and what we do. So that's www.cornerstonewomen.ca. Specifically, there is an Eccles page, so /Eccles, ECCLES, will take you specifically to this new 5th supportive housing building that we are so excited about. We welcome donors in any forum. You can become a monthly donor. You can donate one time, or you can consider including us potentially in your future planning around a will, which is something we have people approach us about, which is a fantastic temperament. The website probably gives you the best option for ideas, but we would love for people to go learn more about us, and if you can, to donate.
And I love, philanthropy we think about as time, talent, and treasure. I think about it too, about inviting somebody else along. So maybe someone's listening, watching us right now and thinking, hey, like this would be something my work could get behind. This would be something that our book club could get behind. I mean, that's the kind of sort of community that I think philanthropy creates, to be honest. I think those opportunities are endless.
That's incredible to mention. As we just passed International Women's Day as well, it's a great opportunity to get together with your girlfriends, or if you have a book club, and really make it a get together with a purpose. That always feels good, and it's a great reason to get together. So we would definitely encourage people to do that as well.
And are you looking for any in-kind sponsors still, or is that side of the campaign over?
We pretty much have locked in most of the tangible, specific items. We are really just looking to raise those final items to complete kind of items like the back patio and the community kitchen finishing touches. So we are very focused on kind of that key number of $350,000 to outline our budget specifically of what needs to be completed. We have an incredible volunteer base at our organization as well. So if there is individuals out there that would also like to get more involved in our organization by giving their time, or if there's some corporations or companies out there that would like to do like a group event that includes a kind of a team building focused on volunteering, we would also encourage you to reach out to our volunteer team at Cornerstone.
Have you allowed yourself to go to that very first day that people are walking into the building and moving into their home? Have you let yourself get there yet?
I'm getting close as the building gets kind of to that point that you can envision, and it really is getting very, very close to that ribbon cutting. You can start to see that this is going to be a space and envision what that 2-week period of move-in is going to look like. It's incredibly exciting. Our program manager, who is going to be inviting and selecting the residents, she's doing such an incredible job that we know that it's going to be an end-to-end success.
You just used a word, and it's really touched my heart. You said she's going to be inviting the residents. And I think so often, and I'll put up my hand, I worked in homelessness for 10 years. I think so often we think, well, okay, we're going to do this for them. We're going to do this, we're going to create this. But I love the fact you used inviting. I think it's a lesson, first of all, for me, it's a lesson for all of us, that there's still choice.
Absolutely.
And that invitation is beautiful. I love the way you said that. Oh, you made my day.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because I think people tend to think that people don't have choices, and giving them choices is lovely.
Absolutely.
Especially in that situation.
Absolutely.
What would you say to somebody that's really never given to Cornerstone before, and it's maybe a first introduction today?
Well, our organization is set up to help the individuals in our community that are experiencing homelessness and are vulnerable. Unfortunately, this isn't a specific issue that doesn't touch all of us. Everybody's touched by this, and I think it would be very hard to identify somebody that maybe hasn't been touched by whether it's a situation that has got you in the short term in a precarious situation, or potentially dealing with some longer term obstacles. But I would encourage everybody just to think openly, as you mentioned. This is a situation, and that we want to ensure that we are making progress against. We're not going to solve the homelessness issue, but welcoming 46 individuals who are currently in a situation of experiencing homelessness into a permanent home is what we need to continue to work towards, and we're really excited that we're going to be at least providing some support to those specific individuals in May.
Thank you so much. Truly an inspiration. Thanks to everybody at Cornerstone Housing for Women as well.
Thank you
Appreciate
for having
it.
us.
Kate Jackson, of course, is here today, Interim Executive Director. When we come back, we're going to learn more about Cornerstone. You'll want to come back. I'm Sam Laprade. See you soon. Thank you again for joining us here for an hour to give. I'm Sam Laprade. Today is all about Cornerstone Housing for Women, and one of the angels that works at Cornerstone, of course, is Chantel Cadeau, and she joins me now. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You've got a very important job. Tell us what you do.
So I'm the program manager for Eccles, so it's our new building that we're opening up. I've been with Cornerstone for a very long time, so a lot of my experience before this was at the shelter, and now I get to kind of see it in a different lens and kind of have a different experience, which I'm kind of excited because I'm going to get to have some of the residents moving from the shelter into the supportive housing at Eccles, so I'll get to be there for the full journey, which is kind of exciting, I have to say.
You get to witness a life being changed. I mean, you saw somebody come in and now they're going to have permanent housing with you. I mean, what does that do for your heart?
Honestly, there's no words to really describe what that does, right? I think it is super amazing, exciting for someone that hasn't had a home, and maybe in a short term or long term, to finally have somewhere they can go into and have their own space, but also have the supports that they need. So that's what I'm really excited about.
For sure. And have you started to sort of think about the programming there? What is an everyday going to look like?
I think every day is going to look a little bit different depending on what's going on. We are going to have 46 units for the residents that are like a bachelor style type of apartment with their own bathrooms and a little kitchenette. We also have in the building a communal space, which will have like a TV lounge, computers, and we also have a food program if they decide to join that will be served out of there. As well, we have a beautiful outdoor space that I cannot wait to use that has a beautiful gazebo, and we're going to have a barbecue and have a garden. So these spaces are really going to be used on a day to day for these residents to do programming and activities and just kind of connect as a house together. So that's very exciting. We also are kind of going to be doing like different programming and activities daily, like life skills, and helping them with, maybe looking for work or education or cooking, budgeting. So a realm of a bunch of different things depending on what that specific resident needs or as a group. So that's really exciting. We have worked really hard at building some really great partnerships with the community, which I'm very excited about. So Somerset West community is actually right across from us. So we are very lucky. Nice. If you go outside our building, it's right there. So that's very exciting. We also, Inner City Health is going to help us with a peer support worker, Canadian Mental Health Association as well. So I'm very excited about all of those type of partnerships that we have happening.
That's
so
amazing.
They're all kind of play together, right?
I love that because and I've said this to many people in the nonprofit and charity space. Nobody can do anything by themselves anymore, right? Whether it's donors, your board of directors, corporations, other nonprofit partners. I mean, it's just that's the way life is now.
Well, it's definitely a community, right? Nobody can do anything alone, and honestly, if we all work together just a little bit, we are going to make a huge impact and differences in people's lives. And I think that's what's really important at the end of the day.
You've been doing this work for a long time. Walk me through what that's like. How is that on you? How do you care for yourself?
I think just making sure that I recognize all the amazing stuff there is out there in a day. Taking time for me. It can be hard at times, right? Especially when I was working at the shelter. I go home at night and I have my own space. A lot of our residents don't have that. So of course that's definitely hard to go home and not have that for them. But it's reminding and working at the next day of finding them a space, somewhere they can move into. And that's why supportive housing is great because yes, a lot of the residents can move into independent living on their own, but a lot of them do need those extra supports to be able to maintain and continue to keep their housing. So just doing things like that, right?
And thinking that all of the supports that would be there for women or members of the LGBTQ community, how important is it for not just to be the home, but it's community? How important is that?
It's very important because you want everyone to feel welcome and safe where we are. We actually made some relationships with Family Services Ottawa around their rainbow services for counseling and some training. So I'm very excited about that. But what you want is when somebody walks into Eccles or any supportive housing or anywhere is for them to feel safe and secure and feel a place they can be themselves, and that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all about that. When you decide to get into this work, could you ever imagine where you'd be?
No, and I also think I've learned so much throughout the years. I think when you go in this field, what you think it actually may be is really not. You really get to connect with people one-on-one and in group settings, but you really get to feel how every single person kind of touches you in a different way and honestly teaches you how you can be a better neighbor, a better person, how you can help out your community, because any one of us at any time can be in the same situation or just need a little bit of help, and I think that's okay.
How difficult was the pandemic on women that maybe were experiencing some crisis?
The pandemic was really hard, because it's really hard to get services. A lot of them you can go in and be person to person, which for some people that connection is really important to be able to open up or get the supports. Also, it isolated them even more, right? You couldn't really leave anywhere. You couldn't really see family. It kind of put them in a alone space, which is really not good for anyone if you're suffering with mental health, or even just for us who kind of want to get out and enjoy the air and have a good time. Pandemic was really hard. And I'm so glad that we were finally kind of getting out of that and getting to be able to see people go out in the community and get resources, because it was extremely hard.
44 Eccles, I mean, it's going to be an incredible opportunity for 46 individuals to call this home. Has that sunk in, do you think, for any of them, or has that, when we were talking about an invitation to them, inviting them to be part of this, have any of them sort of gone to that next step yet?
So we're right now in the process of doing internal transfers if anyone's interested. So we have a couple other supportive housings, so we'll do that first, and then obviously Cornerstone Women's Shelter. So we're going to get residents from there. Once we have those people chosen, then we will work with our community partners. So at the moment, nobody has kind of really come in. We're just starting to do tours if somebody's looking and thinks this will be a good space. Hopefully by the end of April, beginning of May, we will start getting residents into their homes, and then by the end of May, hopefully all 46 will be filled. That's the part I'm really excited for.
And I love the fact it's springtime. It's just, it's just a beautiful revitalization, just this opportunity to start anew, if you will.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great time of year to be moving, and it will definitely make it easier, but it honestly will give that sense of home for someone that I'm very excited about.
And walk me through, somebody coming in to Cornerstone and just reaching out to Cornerstone, connecting, and just trying to change their life. I mean, it must be challenging to do that work, but at the same time very rewarding.
It's very challenging, right? People come to us for different reasons, different circumstances. It could be that they're fleeing an abusive relationship, they've gone hard times, they've lost their job, the mental health. There's so many different circumstances that happen why someone comes to our doors. And from there, the important part is for us to really kind of be there for them, sort of like a hug, making them feel comfortable. And for those that, need those extra supports, supportive housing becomes their community. And oftentimes people, you may have a hard day, and a lot of us can go home and talk to our family members or a friend, and we have someone to listen to us and help us. Sometimes somebody doesn't have anybody, but supportive housing, they have that. They have someone they can go talk to, but on top of it, they have other neighbors and residents that are also going through their own journey in life, and they get to become together as a community and support each other. And that is the beauty of it.
And they have all of you staff. I mean, all the staff at Cornerstone. I've met so many of you over the years, and it takes a very special person to do this kind of work. Talk to me a little bit about how excited the staff are about 44 Eccles.
So the staff are very excited.
Yeah.
I think we're all excited, even just in Cornerstone in general, to be able to open a new supportive housing. We definitely have a crisis of not having enough shelters and not enough supportive housing in Ottawa. So the fact that we get to be part of that solution and give someone a safe space and some dignity is amazing. So staff are super excited. They have been visiting and touring and talking to the residents at the different supportive housing and the shelter about the opportunities, and a lot of them are just kind of glad that we have some extra homes to give to the people.
And I love how you really, I could tell how excited you are about the building and the outdoor space and all of that, those pieces, and getting all of those funded. We know you need $350,000 to go. I mean, I can just see at the end of the day, if we're talking in 6 months from now, it's gonna be a completely different life for so many people.
It's going to be absolutely a different life. We're giving someone somewhere safe, their own home. Sometimes, when you see someone come to the shelter, sometimes they come with nothing but what's on their back. And for us, that may seem like something small, but them going into their own space and having a blanket or a pillow and a room to themselves and a kitchen and a fridge, that's a huge difference. So we're going to see those impacts for having those 46 people move in. And absolutely, as time goes by, that is going to become their home and their community, and that's pretty cool.
And I just visualized, obviously IKEA is helping in a very big way as well.
We're very lucky.
We spoke earlier about that, but just having their own momentums, whether it be a family photo or, something that was near and dear to them that they've been able to keep in their space, and it's safe. I mean, that's the piece. When I first heard about the project, the safety piece is so key, and to be able to shut the door behind them and know that they have their own space.
Yeah, that's really important, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have somewhere you can go that you can kind of like take a breath, relax, know that you're safe, that your things are safe. And that's what it does. It gives them their own independence, but able to keep them housed in somewhere that is going to support them.
You're excited for the big day.
I'm excited. A lot of work. I'm excited. I cannot wait to really welcome everyone into the home and just kind of start our journey all together.
Yeah, because it really is. It's the staff, it's obviously the residents, it's the community as a whole. We only have about 10 seconds, but has the community been very welcoming as well?
We have been very lucky with the community. We do have a supportive housing very close to where Eccles is, and we have Somerset West across the street, and the community has been very supportive, so we are extremely lucky.
Wonderful. Chantal Cadeau, thanks for everything you do for Cornerstone, everything you do for the community as a whole.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Chantal, of course, is from Cornerstone. When we come back, we're going to meet one of her colleagues. You'll want to stay with us here on An Hour to Give. We're featuring Cornerstone Housing for Women, and we're hoping to inspire you. Stay with us, everyone. Well, she's wearing her purple today too, because of course we're talking about all things Cornerstone Housing for Women, and of course Martine Dorr joins me now. Hi Martine, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my honor,
Yes.
honestly.
Yeah.
And you're Director of Programs. That's a very big title.
It's a big job.
It's a big job.
But we have a fabulous team, so
Yeah.
that makes it go better, and I love what I do.
Tell me a little bit about your journey.
So I actually started with Cornerstone 30 years ago. Wow. And yeah, so I worked for Cornerstone until 2007, filling many different positions, from working those overnight shifts to doing housing with the residents. And then I did move away for a period of time to get other experience, and I came back in 2019 to manage one of the residents and evolved into this position. So as I say, what keeps me here is the absolute love I have for Cornerstone, for what we do, for the residents that we work with.
And I know they're happy to have you, 100%.
Well, I get a lot back because it's so nice to be able to walk through the houses while I do my job and be greeted by people who are members of my community that I've had relationships with for 30 years, some of them.
And many, many, many moons ago, for about a decade, I worked in the homelessness sector.
Yes.
And so my perspective of that, that was life-changing for me, obviously, and to learn many, many, many important lessons along the way. I mean, it was, it's, things I still think about today on an everyday basis. But it has even changed. I mean, it's been a decade since I've been there, and I thought it was bad 2 decades ago is when I was there. I'm telling you, Martine, I mean, I know, I'm not telling you, I mean, you can tell me. It has really changed, and it has gotten so much worse, and for lots of different reasons, but let's just start with the opioid crisis. I mean, this is a crisis.
Absolutely. So yes, I've got 3 decades of experience, and I can tell you it's a very different job than when I was on the front line 30 years ago. And we all know about the pandemic and the secondary pandemics of mental health and of substance use. The drugs that people are using now are so much more toxic, and they bring out different reactivities from people, and they're so lethal. And that is something that has really changed in our job. Is our staff now are regularly using life-saving measures. They're providing naloxone to bring someone out of an overdose. They're hyper-vigilant around monitoring people to make sure that they're not exhibiting signs of overdose. Sometimes they're having to use CPR and their first aid skills. And we are also dealing with an aging population as well. That's also part of our dynamic as well for some of our residents. So the work is complex. And we know more than we did 30 years ago too. When I think back to some of the things that I did, I'm like, oh my gosh, we've learned so much. We've learned how to work with women through a trauma-informed lens and to understand where substance use comes from. That people, nobody enjoys being addicted to a substance that is poisoning them, that it is a trauma response, a coping mechanism. And so, having that understanding, and we keep developing that understanding through training and workshops and research, it really impacts the work as well. It is powerful work, making the difference in women's lives.
Oh, I mean, it's unbelievable. And when I think too, obviously lots of people unfortunately find themselves homeless. I like to think it's just a page in their book. It's not their whole story. But each one of those are so unique. That was my biggest lesson.
Yes.
When I marched in to work on my very first day, and thought I knew it all.
Yeah.
And then within about 90 days, boy, was I schooled in the best way possible that, this person lost their job, this person lost a spouse, this person lost a child and never recovered from it. This person, was abused as a child. Every single person, and there was layers on every story.
That's right.
Is that something that you want to basically tell people today, and we won't share anybody's obviously individual story, but is that part of the reason that you sort of talk about Cornerstone publicly, is that there are so many different versions and not to judge,
That's
right?
Honestly, in 30 years, I remember individuals. I don't remember a collective of women. I remember this woman because she was well educated and articulate and a singer, but she also had schizophrenia.
Right.
So the voices spoke to her and made her unsafe to live with her family. And I know her pain from that. And I love talking to her. Man, she could talk politics to you like she knew everything. I can think about when I came back into Cornerstone in 2019, first day back in the door, there was a woman moving into Booth, one of our supportive housing residents, who I had known from being at the shelter, 10 years earlier. Her life story had not been great. She had left the shelter multiple times and tried to find housing. And because it wasn't supportive housing, it was never successful. So she journeyed in and out of experiencing homelessness. And during those years, those stories, those experiences were dreadful. Forced sex, forced pregnancies, forced abortions, children removed from her custody, working with the cycle of her wellness and unwellness. And she, as I say, she stepped into Booth the day I returned, and she's still with us. Like, this is the longest she's ever been housed. And she still has a rough time. But what we provide is that understanding of her story, of the trauma, of the layers, the complexity. That's why we are what we are, supportive housing, because we bring all that understanding and provide that wraparound support for her so that she's not experiencing homelessness anymore. She has a home, and that home is there for her as long as she wants or needs it. Those stories stay with me. Those are what make the work so important and meaningful. And I want to also say, we're hiring, we're moving up in terms of scaling up our operations. And if there's anyone out there who wants to really make a difference in people's lives and work with women, please check out our website and consider coming to work for us, because I can't imagine doing anything different. You know, as I say, 30 years, and even when I stepped away from Cornerstone, I was working with women who were experiencing intimate partner violence. It's the same work, different place.
Yeah.
It is really a privilege to do what we do. And I'm so excited to see Eccles opening to provide 46 women a chance to move away from homelessness, experiencing homelessness, from being on the street or being in shelter or couch surfing or having to trade sex for survival. And we're going to get to offer them a safe place to be.
Wow.
That just really is so gratifying, you know, as I get closer to my older age. One of the things I'm very concerned about, though, is, you know, we talked about some of the complexities for women's lives, is when we went into the project for Eccles, we planned on a partnership with Ottawa Inner City Health. We wanted to bring in that health care to partner with us. We have them with us at booth. And because the story is so different now than it was 30 years ago, with the declining mental health, the physical health, the substance use, it's really important that we have them at the table with us, like in the program there daily. Unfortunately, the funding hasn't come through for that.
Shoot.
So we're still working hard to talk to the provincial and federal governments around finding healthcare funding for that important partnership to really help with that wraparound support for women, because there's so many barriers for
Not
them.
that I have any power, but I just want to call right now and say, you know, fund this, right?
Thank you.
I mean, it's
Feel free.
yeah. I'm like that because
Yeah.
it just feels like that's the right thing to do. To
Yes.
put everything else in place, it feels like a big puzzle on
Yeah.
the table, and it needs one more piece in there,
It
right?
does. It does, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating to see how everybody has to come to the table to make it work. And 46 people, I mean, that is significant. To have 46 people have their life changed. We'll have one person's life changed is remarkable.
Absolutely. And just to tell another quick story, there's a woman who, again, I knew at least 25 years ago, who came to the shelter after a relationship breakdown. So so many people, when they come to a shelter, they say, I never expected I would find myself here. You know, and I think my colleagues Chantal and Kate have both alluded to the fact that anyone, it's scary. Anyone can find themselves experiencing homelessness. And this woman is with us in our program where we have an Aging at Home program for women who've been marginalized and vulnerable. And she's in her 70s, late 60s. And you know, we're there to provide care for her in her aging years. And because we have our partnership with our healthcare provider, who are there with PSWs, but we call them client care workers, she's able to get that care to help her stay somewhere where she's comfortable and fits in, and where we understand her needs. So
Let's bust some myths today.
Ooh.
What's a myth that you think people think about homelessness when it comes to women?
I think it's really hard, especially because at Cornerstone, the women who live with us don't have children in their custody. And I think women are subject to more judgment than men in many ways around how they got there and whether they were good mothers. And, you know, there's a lot of judgment or myths around mental illness in women. When we picture someone who's homeless, we often think of men, and when we find out that women are experiencing homelessness, it's very uncomfortable. And I think people try to either they're not comfortable thinking it through, or the conclusions they come to are erroneous around they've done something that caused it. And definitely when it comes to substance use, there's so many myths around that. And I just think that every person who's using, pardon me, substances are doing so typically to deal with pain, to numb pain, to cope, to make it through. And it's this terrible cycle, because if you're living on the street or in unsafe situations, how do you cope with that daily? Well, possibly through substances, and then that sort of exacerbates the problem and increases the cycle. So there's a lot of myths, but what I really want to boil it down to is they're human beings. They're valuable members of the community, of my community. I appreciate what they bring to this world, to my life, to the lives of each other. You know, the community that they create in supportive housing is so important, and everyone deserves a safe place to live and a place to call home. And so we're very lucky that we're able to do that with the community support. And you know, if people hear us today and want to think about, pardon me, how to support us, we're having a fundraiser on April 17th at Eccles, so you can go in and see the building at 5 p.m. And if you go on our website, you can learn how to register and come in and be a contributor to helping us do this important work.
I love it. Yeah, beautifully said. Thank you, Martine, for everything you do for Cornerstone and everything you did for all the women that walked through the doors.
Well, thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
us and letting us tell our stories.
Oh, my pleasure. My honor.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us here on An Hour to Give. You heard from incredible people today about Cornerstone Housing for Women. Now it's your turn. You can reach out to them and support this important campaign. We're gearing to raise $350,000 for 46 individuals that are about to change their lives. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sam Laprade.